We have a punch that we serve at our markets. We call it rum pum pum. So it's our spin on a rum punch. And people taste it and they're like, wait, is that? And nope, there's an alcohol-free rum in that.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see people have that experience and they're like, okay, then maybe.
So knowing that we are doing spaces that offer no alcohol, spaces that are offering low options, and spaces that are just like, yeah, we rip it, but also we take this very seriously because I don't know who's walking in my door.
Yeah.
I want everybody that comes to Pufferfish to feel like they're in a safe space.
At some point, if somebody has had too many drinks, you have to cut them off, right?
Yeah.
That's the rule. That's the law. So if they come asking for a daiquiri, you can pretend that you heard schnackery and just one of those.
Right.
They'll never know. I don't think they're going to know.
I don't know.
And everybody's happy.
Super grateful to be a part of the revolution because it really is one. It's not about judging people who consume alcohol. I think it's more so just highlighting our relationship to alcohol. Personally and as a community, and really bringing awareness to the fact that we could drink. We could make some healthier choices.
Cool that we've got all these places in Milwaukee that are choosing to make the space special, but I think it does start with fresh ingredients,
Yeah.
and I think it starts with having an understanding of your product.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? What's going on? It's your boy, it's your host, Jamar Jones. I am the founder of Forever Media. I'm also a national keynote speaker and the author of the book, Change Your Circle, Change Your Life. And we're back with another episode of Milwaukee Flavor Podcast presented by Visit Milwaukee. And we're going to get into some awesome conversation. I know if you've been rocking with us for a while, if you've seen a lot of the episodes, you know that we go very deep into this and you get to learn something different about Milwaukee that you've never really known before. And you're going to get to really experience what these amazing people have experienced in Milwaukee. So we're going to get into that conversation. I got my amazing co-host with me. Ian, what's going on, man?
How's it going? I am Ian Thompson of Visit Milwaukee, Senior Communications Manager there, and lover of things NA drinks and alcoholic drinks as well.
You like both? You like to dabble
I
in
like
both?
yeah. It's kind of the moment, right? Sometimes
Yeah.
you feel like as if you want to, after a day of work, just get something with a little alcohol in it. Sometimes you want to mellow out, chill, relax, and get something without. So,
Yeah.
it just depends on the mood, and it's one of those things that it's NA is for everybody. So definitely love the NA drinks.
Yeah, and we're going to be we're talking about that and really just diving into both of those worlds, and especially NA is getting more and more popular. So I think that conversation is going to be awesome. Do you want to introduce our guests?
Yes. So with us today, we have JC of Pufferfish. We have Angela Mallett of HoneyBee Sage and Wellness and Apothecary.
Yes, that's it.
And also we have Apostoli of Mimosa out in Brookfield and Franklin.
Yes.
There we go. So, yeah, we're excited to kick things off and talk about drinks. So tell me a little bit about your business, how you kind of got it all started, and, why do NA drinks kind of matter to you, Angela, and the story behind it.
Yeah, so HoneyBee Sage Wellness and Apothecary is an apothecary. We are a tea cafe and apothecary at our core. That's who we've always been. We, in November, will reach 6 years in business. We started out in the Sherman Phoenix.
Shout out Sherman Phoenix real quick. I got to.
Yeah, we started out in an old bank vault, less than 400 square feet. Where we had a couple tables there for people to sit and have tea. We quickly moved all of our retail into that space, outgrew the vault, moved to 91st in Lisbon after our first 2 years at the Phoenix. Our retail space was still very retail boutique, small space, but we had more space for production there. And in the last 2 years, seems like 3 because we took about a year to build out that space. But in November, we'll have been on King Drive, which is our singular location now, 1819 North Dr. Martin Luther King Drive in Milwaukee. So that space is much larger than the 400 square foot vault we started in. So we've been able to spread out and add a tea cafe to that. We definitely wanted to be able to utilize the space for events. There was a suggestion made that we get our beer and wine license, and I don't know that aligns with who we are and what we do at our core, but we did want to be able to prepare a drink to make a special adult beverage for folks. And at the time, I had no clue how large the NA alcohol-free beverage space was. It was just coming becoming a little bit more popular in the States. But since like cracking, the surface of that, we've explored, and there's so many offerings there. For me, entering that space was very, it was a tender space for me to decide whether or not I wanted to. I knew that serving alcohol just did not feel right for me at all. In 2019, my father passed of alcohol-related organ failure. He struggled.
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I celebrate his life. I love that his legacy has created a space for folks who endure some of the same struggles that he had. He struggled with alcoholism my entire life, most of his adult life. And so for me, I did not want to serve the thing that put great strain on my family and my relationship with my father, and also led to his demise utterly. So, so that's why I am sober aligned. I'm an ally. I will have a drink myself. It's never been an issue for me. Alcoholism, that is. When I was 25, I think I made a firm decision after one too many hangovers. And it was my 25th birthday.
Yeah.
And it was a terrible hangover. I literally thought I was dying because I'm not a drinker, but people just pouring in my glass and I was just drinking up. I was like, I am not doing that.
A lot of us have been there.
Again, right? So I'm 42 now, so it's been since I was 25 that I decided that wasn't the world for me. So I backed off of it. I can have a drink because, again, alcoholism is not a disease for me. It's not an issue for me. But I'm not a drinker in that same breath. So, yeah.
What about you, JC?
Well, I just want to say thanks for sharing your story. It's pretty awesome. And we had an opportunity to chat a little bit earlier, so it's really cool. I love the way that you're approaching the space. My journey is completely different. Our bar literally started out as a pandemic pop-up. So it was just an excuse to get our staff rehired. So our friends at Lost Whale, 2151 South Cunningham, had this beautiful backyard. I was managing the space at the time, and I just said, hey, you want to see if we can give this thing a shot in the backyard and do a socially responsible, socially safe space, distance tables, masks, the whole nine. And they said, yeah, let's go for it. So we got a talk reservation system. I'm digitally declined, and I forgot to hit 1 month in view. It was only supposed to be a 4-month pop-up, and 10 months booked out in 48 hours.
Oh,
so what now?
So we're doing 10 months now.
Well, I guess you have a bar, right?
Yeah.
So we built a tent, got all my friends rehired. We were open during that entire first winter with warmers in our gloves. It was chaos, but we had a lot of fun with it. And when we were able to properly reopen inside, Lost Whale wanted to reclaim their identity as they should. So we decided, do we roll this thing up or do we take it on the road? And so while I was still working there, on the weekends, we decided to take Pufferfish on the road. Then we finally landed where we are currently now on the rooftop of Hotel Metro at 411 East Mason Street. We have celebrated 2 years there this June.
Wow, congratulations.
And it started out as a one-day pop-up again, because that's kind of what the vibe was we were doing. We had done about 13 pop-ups at that time. And the owner of the hotel, long story short, he loved the space so much that he was like, what would it take for you to just not leave? And here we are.
Made me an offer.
You make me an offer you can't refuse. So here we are, 2 years there, 4 years as a brand. As far as non-alcoholic space specifically, I'm a career operator. I fell into this while I was in college as a way to pay for school. And I decided that I was going to treat bartending like art. So I actually didn't consume alcohol for my first 10 years of bartending. So just on a personal journey, it was always a connected piece for me. And then I had a couple of friends who started the PIN Project out in San Francisco, and it was a non-alcoholic drinking coalition. And then from there, just realized that the space wasn't really being properly represented. In the world that we are in, it's technically a rooftop tropical bar. We do serve tiki drinks, but we have no god mooks or deities in the space, so we don't identify as a tiki bar, because tiki is a cocktail movement and a religion, if you didn't know that.
No, I didn't.
And so we are a rooftop tropical space that's paying homage to the drinks of West Hollywood from the 40s and 50s, and those drinks were very potent. It is the strongest alcoholic a style of cocktails that you can have. And so we thought it was going to be really important from day dot to offer the non-alcoholic space with as much care and fervor as the alcoholic space. So while we're not doing it on the level of my boy Ryan and Agency, where their entire menu is alcoholic and non-alcoholic, we have taken the space very seriously. Our menu currently lives around 30 cocktails, and at any point in time, 7 to 10 of them will be non-alcoholic or offered non-alcoholic and alcoholic.
Nice.
I love that. Yeah.
So first of all, thank you for having me, and thank you for letting me do this virtually. I wish I was there. I should be there. My restaurants are in Milwaukee. So Mimosa is the name of our place, and even though it is a morning drink, a mimosa is orange juice and champagne. The name actually came from it's a plant that I didn't know it was a plant, but very randomly. The story is this, basically, I was trying to find a name for the business. I was going through a bunch of names, but nothing was really sticking. One of them was actually my mother's name. I was going to name it after my mother because she's a big inspiration for Mimosa.
Yeah.
We call her Mom at the restaurant. Her name is Katerina. So I was going to name it Katerina's, but then there was another Katerina's in Milwaukee, so I couldn't name it as that. And so it was initially we were going to do a brunch place, right? So we knew we were going to have morning drinks, but it was not going to be an emphasis. But when I found out that a mimosa is a plant that I grew up around, it kind of all came together, because I was never going to name it after a drink. We're not that, I wanted to have a little more interest in the name. So it came out to be that because we named it Mimosa, we put a big emphasis on our drink menu. But it's never really about having alcoholic drinks in the morning. And we tried very much to avoid the trend of drinking in the morning, and the whole idea of all you can drink mimosas. You see that at many places. And even the consistency of our mimosas are very are more gulpable, as I like to call them. So sometimes you go and you see a bunch of champagne with a splash of orange juice. It's not very morning-ish, right? So what we do is it's half and half, actually. So it looks like orange juice, and our orange juice is fresh squeezed, so it has an amazing taste. So even though it's not non-alcoholic, we are very much about, like, you shouldn't be boozing in the morning. Like, you should be enjoying something that helps you calm down, enjoy your friends a little bit better, but definitely nothing that is super strong. And that's why we've avoided having cocktails at the restaurant, like very heavy cocktails. We have Bloody Marys, but you can only drink, how many Bloody Marys can you drink? They're very heavy. So that has been our approach. But recently we have started doing some drinks with non-alcoholic champagne. Not champagne, not from Champagne, France, but
Sparkling.
what is it called?
Yeah.
Sparkling wine. Thank you. So, and that has been going well, but also trying to make juices infused with other flavors that complement breakfast dishes very well, so that people can enjoy something different than just your plain coffee or orange juice, and not leave with a tipsy head. So that.
I personally have tried, and I love this certain type of mimosa that you have. So my favorite beer is the Abbey Triple Sprecher, and you have this Abbey Triple infused with orange juice mimosa, and it's incredible.
It's a beer mosa. Yes.
Beer mosa, yes.
Yeah.
Beer mosa, yes. There you go. Yeah, it's
How do you like it?
It's incredible. Me and my friend of mine, we both enjoy some Abbey Triples. So when we saw that on the menu, we're like, no way. We just ordered it right away. Oh, we only needed one though. We only needed one that early in the morning, but it was good. It was good.
And that's the other thing. People don't drink beer otherwise in the morning. That's been one of the issues. I'm a big beer lover, especially hazy IPAs. And
Okay.
we kept throwing them away because they kept being expiring because nobody drinks beer in the morning. But if you add orange juice,
If you had orange juice, we're there. Well, cool. So how has it been being in Milwaukee as far as just being in the scene that you guys are in? I know you're more in the brunch, so breakfast and lunch, and then you both may be more into the nighttime space. What has the scene been like for you of being in Milwaukee, and where do you also see it going?
Well, I actually found myself in the midday space.
Yeah, you're
we're
more
not
in the
open.
midway.
Yeah, we're not open late. We're a cafe, so
Yeah.
we're open 10 till 7. We did want to. One of my favorite cafes, tea and coffee, actually, is Rochambeau on the east side, right? And so they used to
Okay.
stay open till midnight. So ideally, I don't think anything stays open that's not alcohol that late in the city anymore.
Yeah.
We
I
thought.
I wish that there were more places.
I know,
that do. Yeah.
I know, but
Yeah.
I almost feel like we would love to maybe stay open. I think Rochambeau now stays open till 9. We'd love to stay open later if it was, if it made dollars and cents, right? But it doesn't right now because so many people close earlier. But we're in the middle of the day. And so when we first announced that we were adding the alcohol-free craft cocktails to our menu before we opened on Milwaukee, Lori from Frederick from On Milwaukee interviewed us and entitled that article "The First Alcohol-Free or Non-Alcoholic Bar in Milwaukee." I was like, really? Because that wasn't our goal. We're in a cafeteria, we're a cafe.
It just didn't hit you that
right. That
sounded
was the
like
first.
that.
I was like,
Yeah,
oh wow, because I know in Racine there is Intoxicated was there at the time, so it was the only space that I knew of. But our goal was not really to strongly promote that, but it has been great in the sense of the fact and the reasoning that we even entered the space was that I did not want to serve alcohol. I wanted to be able to serve beverages that our slogan is that we add elevation without intoxication, right? In that space. So people can be elevated, they can reach a certain height in how they feel without intoxication. And so I think that we've been very grateful to share that with people, introducing people to herbs, adaptogens, things like that, outside of even the CBD and THC world, because we have not entered that either for a number of different reasons. But we definitely wanted to be able to share with people how herbs themselves are elevating and how they could introduce that into their regimen if they wanted to have something that elevated or even brought a sense of calm in the middle of the day, at night, whatever. So it's been really fun to share with people that they can have an alcohol. We have a punch that we serve at our markets. We call it rum pum pum. So it's our spin on a rum punch. And people taste it and they're like, wait, is there? Yeah. And nope, there's an alcohol-free rum in that.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see people have that experience and they're like, okay, then maybe, or people who know people who are sober or in recovery, and being able to actually have something that they can offer at the social.
Of course. Yeah.
That's been great.
I think it's really fascinating that whether it was completely by design, by your guys' genius, or we got lucky, but we've got daytime, midday, and nighttime.
It was planned. It was planned.
We've got no alc, low alc,
literally
full alc. So I feel like I'm on.
You got variety.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to be on the high end spectrum of all of these comments and questions. But I want to make sure that everybody knows that I do take the space very seriously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we are a full proper nighttime Milwaukee bar. We are a full alcoholic program. That is what we do. But being a bartender for so long, I think they said 16 of the 20 drunkest counties are in the state of Wisconsin right now.
Yep.
So it's one of those things where, as a Wisconsin community at large, and as Milwaukee community at large, there is a paradigm shift. People do not go out and drink the same. And I can say this, I'm pre-cocktail renaissance. That's how long I've been bartending. When we weren't even taking fresh juices seriously. It's really awesome that you guys are juicing fresh at your space. There was a period of time where it was just, slap some vodka in it and send them on their way because it pays the bills. And, how much can you consume? And everybody was on benders and bingers, and it just was what it was. The fact that we are now in a space where not only are we taking the alcoholic and non-alcoholic spaces equally important. But I think as a community, we're also starting to take cocktails in general with the same fervor that we have been doing culinary for so long.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of
Yeah,
times
for sure.
Milwaukee is underrepresented in its food and drink scene. There's no way about it. Sometimes people hate when I say this, but it's okay. We are a B market as far as size goes, right? You have, your Chicagos and your San Franciscos and your Miamis and your New Yorks, and they're going to get first pick when new products come out and things like that. And, when James Beard's rolling around and all the awards seasons are happening, that's just what's happening. The fact that we are starting to get that representation, the fact that we're starting to get those eyeballs on us, I think it's more important now than ever that we are looking at all aspects of the game. So knowing that we are doing spaces that offer no alcohol, spaces that are offering low options, and spaces that are just like, yeah, we rip it, but also we take this very seriously because I don't know who's walking in my door.
Yeah.
I want everybody that comes to Pufferfish to feel like they're in a safe space.
Yeah.
And so you come to the bar and you see the page of the non-alcoholic drinks and you say it. There's no questions asked from my team. We've actually named all of our non-alcoholic drinks a slight variation of the alcoholic version, so there's no confusion at the bar.
Okay,
so
that's
just a little pro tip if anybody out there is trying to rip this space. We'll have a daiquiri, and then our non-alcoholic is our snackery.
Okay.
Right? So we actually call our house Mai Tai. If you order a Mai Tai at our space, it'll be the non-alcoholic version, because our actual Mai Tai, we call it the Meh Tai, to try to promote the Mai Tai. So on any of the drinks that we do that, Port Light, it's got in parentheses LITE. It's the Port Light, it's the non-alcoholic version. So we did it a little bit to be cheeky, but also to make sure that there was no qualms about it. You come in, you order that drink, we're going to serve it for you, and we're going to treat it with the same care that we would if it had alcohol in it.
Yeah, that's cool. Did you come up with those names?
Some of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask.
Yeah. I think
And also, JC, go ahead. Sorry.
You're up.
No, I was going to say that, actually, that's a great, at some point, if somebody has had too many drinks, you have to cut them off, right?
Yeah.
That's the rule. That's the law. So if they come asking for a daiquiri, you can pretend that you heard schnackery. And just give them one of those.
Right.
They'll never know. I don't think they're going to know.
I don't know.
And everybody's happy.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, on a personal note, I live for conflict. So, I think there's just too much right now of people just trying to be like, oh, yeah, cool. And everybody's just willing to stand down. Like, no, if somebody's had too much to drink, you just look at them and you say, sir, we have that exact same drink that you've been drinking in the non-alcoholic version. I would like to buy that for you. I have no problem telling somebody what it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And, I think it's funny, that we have the option to do that and like the wink, wink. Yeah. But, also like I got no problems telling them like, hey, you walked in here, I'm going to make sure you walk out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's real.
good.
I think that's a benefit. I had a lady who bought Monday whiskey, which is alcohol free, of course, from our bottle shop, and she was talking about how her mother-in-law had one too many at the family function, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna make her a beverage, but I'm gonna change out whatever she was drinking for this Monday whiskey. She drank it, and at that point she couldn't tell the difference really. Right. It still tasted. It felt. There's a little bit of a burn. They make additives and whatnot, niacins, B vitamins and whatnot to give you a little bit of a tingle. Put little spices in there. So I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to have that as an option to kind of switch out for people who are all the way up, and don't need to go any further.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so many other reasons why people may not drink alcohol.
Sure.
Right? Like for me, hydration is
Yep.
importantly essential when I go and play soccer and do sports. And, if I need to go to a work event directly after work and then need to go to soccer after that, it's the perfect time to, get an NA cocktail, get a little hydration going, and then, roll and do my physical activity as well. So there's so many different reasons why a person may not drink. And I love that the culture of Milwaukee is becoming more and more friendly to it.
Sure.
I know Wisconsin has the stigma of, we're the drinking state and everything else. But we're evolving beyond that, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm very happy that this space has been created by, great people that are here in Milwaukee, and it's going to continue to expand in the state as well.
I'm super grateful to be a part of the revolution because it really is one. It's not about judging people who consume alcohol. I think it's more so just highlighting our relationship to alcohol personally and as a community, and really bringing awareness to the fact that we could drink we could make some healthier choices
Yeah.
and introduce more healthy options. Yeah.
Apostoli, how's the Milwaukee community been to you as far as for your two spots, and where do you see it going?
It's been incredible, especially Franklin. Is the community of Franklin, the city of Franklin, is one of the reasons that we became this successful, is because we went in a spot that really needed. We filled the gap, right? We filled the gap with giving very good brunch to a community that is full of city people that moved to Franklin in order to have better schools and more space to raise their children, more safety, and but everybody needed that top, like, very good quality brunch, and so they really came behind us. And even with the unfortunate timing of opening Brookfield 2 months before the pandemic, Franklin was, kind of saved us. And Brookfield afterwards, like, got to know us as well and came to the rescue to, like, get us back up, and we're right at the top again. Now, in terms of Milwaukee, it's like I always wanted to make a move towards the center of the city. But I always have this, I don't know how to say it without sounding judgmental almost, that Milwaukee, as JC said, it's a B city. And then many times we try to become like an A city. And I love what I've been seeing in Milwaukee is this movement of, let's do more small. Let's do Milwaukee style. Let's try to create these, like, grand projects that, like, are gonna be great for when people come to visit the city, or when they or when there's a big game down at the arena. Like, how about we focus on, like, these small, like, mom shops, true, like, character. Like, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about your stories, Angela and JC. Yeah. JC's, his MO was, I want to bring my friends back to work. Like, that's not something you hear from somebody that's opening, like, a 500 seat restaurant. So I love that we're realizing what Milwaukee is and what we're good at, and what we have is heart, and that's going to be the big differentiator, I think. But I must say, I don't live in Milwaukee anymore full time. I go back and forth. I'm mostly in San Francisco Bay Area, but it's especially now that I realize the importance of, like, sticking to your guns when you're a smaller city. And when I come back, I see the heart. The hospitality that we have in Milwaukee is, like, San Francisco, unfortunately, it's just not. You don't get the hospitality that you get in Milwaukee. In Milwaukee, you get like, it comes from within. Like, it's just something that, I don't know what it is. We love to make people happy. I mean, you go to the supermarket and everybody says hello when they're passing by. It's not a coincidence. We're very friendly people. So, I don't know if that answers your question. I threw a lot of things out there, but absolutely.
No, it's good.
I think you touched on some points. I mean, that's what makes Milwaukee special. I always call us Little Chicago. We're just due north, and people love that we have this. We have a little bit of a big city flair, right? But with a hometown feel, and I think that's what people enjoy about us. We, as a business, have a desire to create a franchise model so that we can take, this feeling into other spaces, because when people come into our space, it is something that they appreciate, and we don't want to be anything other than who we are as HoneyBee Sage. So I think I love how you stated that we just have to own who we are and not try to be anybody or anything else.
And I'm also, like, in the center business district. I'm, like, a block off at the Cathedral Square, right next to the Pfister. I'm there with all the sports athletes and the ghosts, right? Like, yeah. I'm right there, right in the heart of it all, And so, being where we are located, I've been able to see this really beautiful paradigm shift with Milwaukee. RIP Grand Avenue Mall, right? I mean, we all know that project, and when we tried turning it on the condos, and now we have the beautiful, 3rd Street market that is crushing it, right? So it's one of those things where I think things are happening and starting to happen downtown. You know, I have the privilege of teaching cocktail classes at the Milwaukee Public Market. They just got nominated Best Public Market in America in USA Today.
They won it.
They won it, yeah.
They won
so
it,
they
yep.
just they just
Nice.
they just took the whole thing home. So it's like now I have the privilege of being a small piece of that story. You know, I think what's happening in downtown, and the thing that I have found most fascinating, and also I'm a transplant. We were talking about this in the beginning before we started. I'm actually from San Francisco.
Yeah.
And now live here. And my wife's a season ticket holder of the Packers. Guess who won? But here we are.
Yeah, here we are. You're not the first one, too, on the show that moved and was like, yeah, I'm going there.
But I love it. I've been here long enough to rep Milwaukee, and I rep Milwaukee to the fullest because I think that it's been touched on a couple different times. But the people of Milwaukee is what makes Milwaukee special. The people that come into our doors, right? And this is kind of like something that funny that we talk about in our staff. But like I think about it, right? You have to walk into a hotel, into an elevator like you're going to your room. Then you've got to walk down a hallway like you're going to that room. Then you have to go up 2 flights of stairs. And as you're going up 2 flights of stairs, you are listening to Latin music. By the time you get to the top of that experience, I want you to have the best night of your life, right? And I think that there are so many operators right now that are starting to push that agenda of really bringing it back to making sure that people's nights is fulfilled, which now brings us back full circle to what we're here talking about really is whether it's an alcoholic night or a non-alcoholic night, we just want you to have a great time. And I think that the people that are taking it responsibly, like the wonderful people on this panel, are at the forefront of something really wonderful.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about ingredients, right? So you talked a little bit about mimosa having freshly squeezed orange juice that goes into the mimosas. I don't think I've had that anywhere else in Milwaukee as of yet, so looking forward to trying that. But you know, what is important about sourcing the ingredients that you put into your cocktails, and why does it make it more healthy? Why does it make the drink better tasting? Why is it a more of a advantage for a customer to come to your businesses and try the drinks there?
All of our syrups or anything like that we use, we make our own glycerites in-house. We also use one other brand called All the Bitters. Shout out to All the Bitters. It's out of California as well. They make amazing glycerite-based bitters that we use. We add our own glycerites that have, they're actually... some of them are with the herbs that we use in our tea. All of our teas are medicinal, so we can add whatever benefit to the beverage. We don't use sugar at all. Some of our drinks, if it's lemonade based or something like that, may have sugar in it, but we don't add any additional sugar. We use agave. We try to be mindful. Agave and honey, of course. We're HoneyBee Sage, so we appreciate honey, but we also realize that a lot of people are trying to go less on the glycemic index, which is something that's often not considered in the world of the alcohol and beverages, is that, you know, it's not just the alcohol content, it's the sugar content that really takes that experience, you know, from one space to the next in terms of it being a healthier option. So we do that. We try to make sure most of the ingredients that we're using are organic because we are a health space. We do focus on the medicinal value of the herbs and the teas that we have. That's who we've always been. All of our proprietary blends of herbs are medicinal, so we really want to make sure that we're adding benefit to people's lives, even in the space of the alcohol-free cocktails. And so we're mindful of the ingredients that we use. Again, most of them are made. We make our own flavor-infused honeys, glycerites. Again, our bitters are glycerite-based. So we try to make sure that we're practicing the same level of integrity in our bar space as we do in our apothecary.
In the space that we're in, being like a fully functioning liquor licensed bar, we can operate a little bit more rogue in the non-alcoholic space. We partnered with a couple of different brands and companies to kind of achieve this goal. One of them is right here out of Milwaukee. Shout out to Bitter Cube. We had an opportunity to make our own bitters blend with them in partnership with them, literally called Pufferfish Sticky Bitters. And the idea is this is just a flavor enhancer to give a tropical note to other things. So when we're talking about fresh juices. We're talking about, fresh syrups. You're talking about creating things organically for your menu. I think that's more important now than ever. And what a lot of people, I think, aren't realizing that if you are working with fresh ingredients, if you are working with things where you said it so eloquently, but for me, I just say knock the sugar out of the glass, right? Shout out to the OGs, but ultimately at the end of the day, a lot of the original recipes was just whatever they had access to. And now we have so many more tools at our disposal, right? Yeah. There's so many more tricks in the bag. In the non-alcoholic space specifically, one of the things that we have found has been not troublesome, but something that has to be explorative, is it actually costs more money now to make a non-alcoholic cocktail than it does to make an alcoholic cocktail, because the space is still so new. So if you're going to the shelf and you're buying a 700 or 750 ml of the non-alcoholic version, you might be paying upwards of $30, $40 for that non-alcoholic offering of whiskey, gin, rum, or tequila. And so to use it as a straight sub, you're going to be making a very expensive cocktail. And then somebody's like, well, I wanted the non-alcoholic version, and you're still charging $12. I don't really understand where this is going.
Oh, why?
And the why. So I think that in that space as well, you can work with fresh juices and honeys and agaves, like you said, and you can really create moments with the cocktail where it's not just the age-old adage of us just giving them Sprite with a little bit of grenadine on top. The bowling alley Shirley Temple, right? Your kid, with the quarters at the arcade machine. There's like, give him a Sprite.
That was my option at 25 when I stopped drinking. Shirley Temple, me, please.
So we're now in a space where we can make the space special. I think it's really cool that we've got all these places in Milwaukee that are choosing to make the space special, but I think it does start with fresh ingredients, and I think it starts with having an understanding of your product.
Yeah, I love that, because we're able to make. I don't want to interject, but we're able to make the craft cocktails. Like, they're really special. For me, if I'm going to have a drink, I want it to be complex. I want to have an experience. I'm not really just taking shots to go all the way up quick. Like, that's not my thing. No judgment to people who do, but I want to have an experience. And I think when we're able to add those bitters, those syrups, those different things, we are able to add, like, it's a little party in your mouth. It's an experience. Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that, Angela. Like, the experience being like, that's the trend, right? And with us, since the beginning, that was one of the main differentiators of Mimosa, was trying to source the best ingredients. And then I have this weird characteristic where I love setting these obscure goals. And so one of the goals that I set in the beginning, and we actually put those on the top of our menu so to keep us accountable, one of the goals that I set was always orange juice has to be fresh squeezed and never sugar added. Now, you guys make juices too. You know that at some point there's a season, there's a couple of times in the year that juicing oranges are basically the most bland thing. So many places, what they do is they add sugar. So I hate adding sugar, to go back to what Angela was saying about using agave and using honey. But we actually use, not for our orange juice, we never put sugar in our orange juice. We might mix it with fresh squeezed tangerines. A little bit sweeter. We try to find tricks, but that's because we have set this like promise on our menu, so we can't go against it. We have to. But so the idea of good ingredients goes across our menu, not just for our drinks, but we make our own cranberry. We don't make our own cranberry. We don't make cranberry juice. It's very complicated to get cranberries and make cranberry juice, but we use a concentrated organic cranberry, but it's very bitter, as you know. So we sweeten it with Wisconsin maple syrup.
Love it.
In order, why do sugar? So I'm all for that. But the why do we do that is, it sits better on your body. And not everybody's able to notice that, but those that do, it matters, the world to them, but it's an increasing, increasing demographic. So as we go, I've been seeing more and more people that are more about the minor experiences, and that comes from the culinary world of like, people, Michelin star restaurant that are doing crazy experiences with their their meals. But I'm also seeing that people are becoming more and more conscientious in many, many ways. And the non-alcoholic movement is something I'm seeing a lot here in San Francisco. So I didn't mention this. I also, I'm the founder of a AI startup for restaurant tech. So I'm building some AI tools for restaurants, including my own. And I'm around a lot of young people and a lot of young, cool people. It is surprising how many of them don't drink. It's like 9 out of 10 don't drink at all. And they're all about meditation and being attuned to their bodies and their mind. And those are the kind of people that will enjoy going into Angela's place and drinking, or at JC's as well, the non-alcoholic, the snackeries. They will understand the little nuanced experiences in there because they're so attuned. Because they're so attuned to their feelings, their emotions. So something big there, and that's if you are attuned to your emotions and your insides, you're definitely going to notice that there's high fructose corn syrup in that.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I think Ian said that NA is for everybody, right? Whether you drink or not, you can enjoy an NA cocktail or beverage and have a decent experience, whether your motivation is to not drink or just to enjoy a beverage. And I think that that's very important what you say. People who are in touch with that have a deep appreciation for it. Those who are not, they're like, oh, this was cool, and you win either way, right? You don't have to press the issue with folks who don't understand or don't take it that seriously. But for people who do, there's a great appreciation for the folks who do take into consideration what we're putting in the beverages as much as they're taking into consideration what they're putting in their bodies. Yeah.
I would also say, just to any business out there that's thinking about jumping into the space, right? While it's something that we do clearly because we're trying to curate quality and we really want everybody to feel safe in our space, and you're talking about people being in touch with their feelings and the trend of Generation Next maybe not drinking as much, right? Because there's so many more options out there for them. So part of it is also, we want to do this, really wonderful things so that we can have the best possible experience at our spaces. But the second one is we're in the business of being in business.
Yeah.
Right? And alcohol is supposed to be a bulletproof industry, right? It's supposed to be an industry that is, it's recession proof, right? It's survived, the world wars. It survived the Great Depression. It just survived all of this stuff. So, it kind of got this stigma that's like, oh, people will always need drinks, right? That's part of the reason that our, state, is where it is because of prohibition.
Liquor stores were an essential business during the pandemic.
Yeah,
Let's talk
they were necessary. And the apothec, shout out to the apothecs because, they were doing, medicinal, herbal tonics and bitters, and they were getting them prescribed. And I look at some of these old receipts of these Wisconsin receipts, and it's just like, Joe Smith was prescribed, 5 liters of, quinine bitter, and, it was like 27% alcohol. Yeah. He needed 5 liters a day prescribed by his doctor, So it's one of those things where yes, it's a beautiful space, and I'm so happy that the space is here and it's arrived. But also, from a business standpoint, I think you should add this because you want everybody to feel included, and also now you have that option, like just take the deep breath. It's okay that it doesn't have alcohol in it. Offer it. And if 99.8% of your clientele still comes in and orders their High Life and their shot and they keep it moving, that's great. Yeah. But now you can say, yes, I can serve you to anybody that walks into your space. That's true. Now everybody is welcome, and I think that's what makes it cool.
And you understand that it doesn't affect your bottom, it actually improves your bottom line because, again, these bottles, these beverages cost just as much, if not more, than the actual spirits. And so you're not, shaving off. I know that you said you moderate your prices a bit just to make sure that people you are able to offer it, right? And
I'm just looking at the stigma.
Sure.
Like back in the day, it was here's your Sprite for $2. We'll put some grenadine in it. And now all of a sudden, if you turn around, you're like, okay, here's a $16 non-alcoholic drink in Milwaukee. They'll look at you like you're crazy.
And we're doing the same thing, right? Because people are looking like, Then why am I paying $13 and no alcohol? I'm like, why would you pay? We could have a whole nother conversation, but we won't go there, okay? But the fact is, like, you are making that offering and making it accessible. There are people, again, who if you know, you know. If you appreciate it, you appreciate it, and you could definitely affect your bottom line in a positive way by being more inclusive.
Yeah. And also, I mean, you guys bring awareness to the space too.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's going to just help this thing continue to grow. Where now we have more people who understand why the space is necessary, and I think it's just going to help.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you want to say something, Apostoli?
Yes, I did. Yes, please. So, JC, you mentioned a word that is amazing. Like it's like I got goosebumps when you said everybody feels included, and that is such a key element of hospitality, is to make every single person that walks in feel part of the group, and you do that. And again, going back to food, many restaurants do it with offering gluten-free options and vegan options and things that don't, okay, yeah, we have oatmeal. Like if you're vegan, you can just have oatmeal with water. Like just don't add anything to it. Like make people feel like, okay, I'm not stigmatized. Nobody's pointing at me and being like, why is that person not drinking? Why is that person not eating like a regular meal? And then it starts conversations. It just like gets tiring. So inclusion is, I absolutely like that. That rings heart.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big believer in that. I have a good buddy of mine. He has a company called, I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's called System Seltzers.
Yeah, we know System.
Yeah.
Good dude.
So they it comes in a pack of NA, and then it's got 5 and an 8%. But it's like so everybody can feel included when you buy it.
Also, shout out another Milwaukee brand crushing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they're crushing it. Yeah, they're every year they keep going up, and it's great to see. So we've also been a huge supporter of what they got going on. I want to switch the topic slightly just to have a little bit of fun. I want to know what is the most extravagant item that you guys serve at each one of your establishments. And let's stretch it even to food, even for Apostoli, to actually, broaden the horizons of what this can be. But what's the most extravagant item that you have on your menus?
I'm gonna let you go first because I'm gonna have to think about that.
Extravagant as in price point, or just what we think is the coolest?
Let's go by the cool factor, like just like the wow, like you order it and it gets right to you, and you're just like, what in the world?
All right, it's not non-alcoholic. Is that all right?
That's fine. That's fine.
We're here
I
to
even
talk.
stretched it to
We're here
food,
talk
so
alcohol.
it's cool.
So
alcohol.
I'm gonna give you a quick backstory because hopefully it'll make it cooler.
Yeah.
When I was a young man growing up in California, I had an aunt that lived in Anaheim. And I don't know if y'all know this, but back in the day, they used to have a thing called the People Mover that would move you into Disneyland. Okay, they got rid of it. But basically, you could get on the People Mover and then just roll into the park with your season pass. So I was like 8, 9, 10, just rolling into Disneyland without parental supervision. By going on the People Mover. Yeah, the 90s were a wild time. So where do you end up when you're a young man? You always end up Pirates of the Caribbean, the Haunted House, and the Tiki Room. And, it's those little birds and, they sing and dance. I think it might be part of the reason why I eventually got into the space that I'm into of loving tropical drinks so much is because when you came out of the ride, they had the pineapple Dole Whip ice cream. And it was always this core memory because they'd give it to anybody under 12 for free. So I'd just be rolling around, with these free pineapple ice creams. And so I was like, you know what? I finally got my own rooftop bar. I got my own tropical bar. Let's go. So we started this year doing basically our version of the Disneyland recipe of a spiked Dole Whip that's coming out of a soft serve machine on our patio. With color changing spoons and Tiffany blue dish and like the whole thing. So it just feels very lavish. And then we're actually making our own coconut infused rum as a little floater to go over the top of it. The drink actually is in the low alcoholic space because you can't put too much alcohol in ice cream because it will adjust its freezing point to the point that it'll just be a slushie. So in order to keep it at soft serve, you actually have to keep the ABV down. So that's why I'm thinking of that because it is extravagant. It's pretty unique. It's cool. It's got a personal story. And I know we're not the only ones doing pineapple Dole Whip in the tropical space, but I think the way we're doing it is pretty exceptional, and it's a fun thing, that we've had the privilege of having on our menu this summer, and it's been a big hit.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Well, people know what to order when they come through, man.
I might be in there tonight with that. I'm like, man.
I mean, you get a cocktail with a spoon. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
right?
Extravagant. That's this huge word. I mean, I don't think that we do anything. Well, everything we do is extravagant. I would say that. Okay. Yeah. But in terms of look and appeal, we have herbal spritzers. So we do like a muddled fruit in there with seltzer and a little agave, and we add herbal garnishments to the time. We add our herbal glycerite, so it's a whole little experience. I think, and we serve them in beakers, so it's a kind of a cool concoction.
That's extreme.
So I think, I think, and let me shout out quickly, Tracy Grundy at the beginning. When we very first started, was a huge part. She was the curator of our bar program, and so we started out with her. Making the vast majority of our cocktails. We've grown and expanded since, but so we started out with the herbal spritzer, adding our herbal glycerites again, so you can actually feel the drink without sans the alcohol. So that's one of our most extravagant, I guess I would say.
Yeah. I would say that meets the criteria.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
We're good with that.
Nice.
To go along with what JC did, I'm going to start with a story. When I was first opening, I wanted to eliminate as many allergens as possible so that, especially the ones that can cause people to have huge issues that could potentially lead to very serious health issues, such as peanuts, seafood, fish too. And I eliminated those three from our menu. And while we were doing construction, we were having an issue with one of our contractors, couldn't finish something in time, and I needed this very long banquette to be built. But I could not find a contractor. I had was running out of money because I had a few surprises in the kitchen. And so I had a friend who I call him my local grandfather. Ciro is his name. And I asked him, I said, listen, do you know somebody that can build one? And he said, I can build you one. Just imagine a very, very large man with a mustache, Armenian with a thick accent. I build you one. And great, thank you so much. But you're expensive. He said, I don't want money from you. If you pay me, I get mad. I just want one thing. I said, what do you need? He said, I want a shrimp omelet on the menu. I said, a shrimp omelet? First of all, I can't. But how did you think of that? He said, I ate one once in San Francisco back in 1977, and I haven't found a place that has a shrimp omelet, and now is my chance.
He's willing to bargain.
He's waiting for that moment.
This is his moment. He's been waiting for his whole life.
Wow.
So this 2017, exactly 40 years later. So I said, Ciro, I really don't want to, but okay, sure. I mean, let's we'll talk about it. And of course, I did succumb to that. And not only did we add it to the menu to make him happy, but we have the shrimp omelet, and it's a top 5 selling item.
Nice.
So even though it's not that extravagant, it is a little bit different. You don't expect a shrimp omelet, but it's a marinated shrimp in garlic, cooked with onions and tomatoes, and it's topped with cheese and avocado, and it just great combination. He knew what he was talking about. So
I'm not even a shrimp girl, but I gotta have that. I'm gonna have that just because of this conversation.
I think we're also touching on like another point with your story as well, which is really wonderful. That sometimes it's about the uniqueness of your offerings as well, right? Absolutely. Like it sounds just to me, just hearing here, like I want to visit both y'all spaces.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you think about unique offerings, things that are kind of become your touch pieces that you put into this world. That's another thing that I think makes Milwaukee great is I always tell people that it's a large enough city where you can succeed, but it's small enough that you can afford to fail.
Yeah,
and you go to a place like Chicago or San Francisco, and you bottom out, you bottom out. You
Yeah.
become part of the street team, as I like to call them. And in Milwaukee, you can afford to throw darts and do wonderful things like that, like having friends build banquettes and just take a gamble on a shrimp omelet, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, this is crushing.
Yeah,
this is now one of my
actually
top.
selling.
This is one of my top things. And it's like, if you don't even have the courage to throw that dart, you wouldn't even know that was a possibility. And in Milwaukee, you have the possibility to throw those darts. So another shout out to our great city, just the ability to throw darts in this town and do weird stuff and cool stuff.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, that's a crazy story, man. That's a crazy story.
We got to bring Ciro on the pod.
Yeah. I don't do podcasts. I know how to do this
What is a
accent.
He's gonna come in.
I would love that.
I'll do one podcast, but I'm gonna need.
Yeah, I'm gonna need
clams.
Hyper specific.
I was in Tuscany in '69.
clam omelet.
Yes, that's hilarious.
Well, no, this has been really good, man. I mean, the conversation has been absolutely incredible. I just want to go around really quick and just make sure that you guys plug each one of your places once again, and where people can find you.
Yeah, I am Angela Mallett of HoneyBee Sage Wellness and Apothecary. We are located at 1819 North Martin Luther King Drive. We are open 7 days a week, 10 till 7, Tuesday through Saturday. We have a shorter day on Sunday, 12 to 4, and then we're shorter on Monday, 10 till 5. And you can also shop our website, honeybeesage.com, for our medicinal blends of tea. That's
Nice.
who we are. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
JC, Pufferfish. We are a rooftop tropical bar at Hotel Metro, next to the Pfister at 411 East Mason Street. We are open Wednesday through Sunday. I like to say 5 to 1 Wednesday through Saturday, and then on Sundays we're doing 2 to 10 to try to get after the people that are going out for a nice brunch and they just want to catch a rooftop afterwards. So let's team up on that.
Nice.
And if I could plug anything that we're doing, we got a couple of pretty cool events coming up that no one knows about yet. So these is
Okay, go ahead.
World premiere.
Go ahead.
Halloween, we're turning one of our rooms into a haunted house with method actors. So basically, you come up into the space, you get a complimentary cocktail, and then we're just going to try to terrify you for about 10 to 15 minutes as just an accompaniment to the bar experience. So we're doing that the week of Halloween. And then we have the privilege of running back Sipping Santa again this year, which is through the Miracle. So Tin Widows, the official Miracle bar of Milwaukee. Oh. They've been doing it for, I think this is either their 9th or 10th season doing it. And we have the privilege of becoming an accompaniment to that program. Sipping Santa is the tiki version of that, where we turn our entire space into a Christmas wonderland for 6 weeks. Last year it was incredible. We get to raise money for charity as well. So it's just a really wonderful
Nice.
program that helps out a lot of people, including our wallets.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's I love immersive experiences like that. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
I'm gonna book a flight and come back tonight. I really
Come
you guys are
through,
making me
man.
excited about both of your places. No, that's fantastic, and kudos to. I don't know how you do that, JC. You said how many pop-ups? 12 pop-ups, or
Yeah, we did.
How many?
We did 13 on the road before we became an actual bar.
That's incredible, and the fact that you do events every year, like we're more of a place where it's like we try to standardize everything and like keep the flow going. So yeah, Mimosa is the restaurant, Mimosa Breakfast and Brunch. First location was in Franklin, second in Brookfield. Open 7 days a week, and from 7:30 in the morning to 2:30, and we do brunch with the twist usually, but it's your classic Milwaukee, Wisconsin diner family restaurant. With a twist. The twist is fresh ingredients, locally sourced when possible, and great hospitality. You can find Mimosa on social on Insta and Facebook, and also I'll plug my other big project, Ality, the final word in hospitality. It's the AI. Brain of a restaurant that is being built right now that hopefully will make its way to every restaurant in America and help restaurateurs and operators like everybody here enjoy their work again instead of having to deal with the tedious and mundane. So they can put more events like Jesse is doing.
Yeah, good luck with your project, man.
Can
Yeah.
I
Thank you.
add one more thing?
Thank you.
We do catering as well. So if you want to
Okay.
add alcohol-free options or a bar as an option to any of your small or large events, corporate weddings, receptions, small businesses, organizations, if you want to add alcohol-free to your options with the holiday season approaching, we are your people. We are honeybees.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much. Where can people learn more about Milwaukee?
Yeah, go to visitmilwaukee.org. Also check us out on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook as well, and LinkedIn if you're looking on the business side. And if you are a business that is not a partner of Visit Milwaukee, we highly encourage you to become a partner with Visit Milwaukee as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for being on the show. And then everybody listening and watching, please like, comment, subscribe to the show. Please share it with a friend. Don't be stingy. You got to share this with somebody and make sure that they hear these amazing stories about Milwaukee and just get them to actually experience something different too. You might have heard something that you haven't really known before, or maybe you're just visiting the city and you want to see, hey, where are the hot spots? Well, you learned a lot here today, so share this with somebody and we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.